to the Rachel and Ron Show, featuring fun and deep discussions about the things that affect female entrepreneurs most, as well as tangible tools to grow their business, all the while living their best lives. And now, give it up for your hosts, Rachel and Ron. Rachel,
Hey, Ron, there you are. Good morning.
good morning. How are you?
I am so good. I just had the craziest morning. I mean,
Oh,
I am like, I dropped my daughter off at school. I have no kids at home right now. All three of my kids are in school.
oh my God. Is Adam works from home too, right?
Yeah, so this is the first time that we have been home without our kids since March.
Oh my God. Are you guys gonna have lunch together?
Yeah, we are. We're gonna like party. I have this show with you this morning, and then he and I are gonna hang out. No, I mean, we share an office, so we're together all the time. We can't get enough of each other. It's a little crazy like that. Um, so he'll do his work and I'll do my work, but it's just peaceful, and we don't have to compete for the Wi-Fi.
It's true. Oh my God. But are you guys like I'm obsessed with this. You guys are the cutest ever. Let me just tell you. Like
Oh, thank
you guys
you.
give me hope. Um, are you guys gonna do like a fancy lunch? Like or just like straight up like sandwiches or
Um, well, it's definitely not going to be sandwiches because I'm trying to limit my carb intake, you know,
yeah,
the processed carbs.
yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I'll make a salad for us, but don't tell him just in case I don't follow through on that. So
Okay.
we'll see.
I
Yeah.
won't push. I won't push. I'm excited for you. It's a big
Yeah.
deal. It's
Thanks.
gonna
It is a big deal. But what was even more weird about the morning was that I dropped my daughter off at this massive school where so my kids have been in private schools their whole life. And she switched to public school actually just a couple weeks before the pandemic. And so she now is walking into a building with 550 other sixth graders today. So it was just like such a new experience for me. I was nervous. I had butterflies. I mean,
Oh,
I
but
just had to take a,
this is like the new junior high, right? Today was her first day at the
yeah,
Oh, that's nothing that's like a big deal. Like
yeah, yeah,
wow,
yeah.
congratulations. And then
Thank
also,
you.
was she terrified? Was she like, oh my God?
No, no, she was like, she literally said to me, Mom, I got this. I'm going to be fine. And I'm like, oh my gosh, here she is, supporting me because she could tell I was all nervous. No, she's totally excited and she's brave and she's independent. And I'm learning so much from her about what it means to show up in new spaces.
Yeah. Did you have a hard time with that as a kid? Like show like any like transitions in school or like
Oh my God, totally. I
yeah.
I was like on the first day of school, I'm like, who am I going to eat lunch with? And I asked her and she's like, I don't know, I'll just find somebody. Wow. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
so
It-
inspiring. Yeah. No, I don't like walking into a room, even as an adult, where there are hundreds of people
yeah.
and I don't know. It's like I don't know where to go first.
That's a real thing. I'm blown away that you say that. I had this vision of you being like, look at you, your big R in your mug.
Yeah.
I had this vision of you being someone who just like walks in a room and it's like, "What's up? Hey, everybody!" Like, no, that's
Yeah.
not you.
It's not me at all.
Oh,
There is some fancy word for being sort of this combination of introvert and extrovert. I don't know what it is.
yeah.
If anybody knows it, comment, let us know.
I,
But that's what I am. Do you have
it's
it?
I've heard of talkative introvert, which is what I am. Like that's like like a thing. But you're right. There's this hybrid where yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
Like, give me a microphone and an audience. I'm in heaven. It's calming. It's soothing for me. Invite me to your birthday party. You don't need to. I'm just saying, like, I've been invited to birthday parties recently, and it's not a thing. It's
Yeah.
not feel comfortable with.
When I first moved to Denver, so Denver's known for their startup week,
Mhm.
an amazing, really robust startup week that's so supportive, has really great panels and classes and everything for entrepreneurs. Anyway, so I had just moved to Denver. Startup week is early fall, as you know. So I had maybe been here for 6 weeks. I didn't even have a business yet. I just knew I wanted to start another one. And I see something there's like going to be a women's rally. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'll just sign up for one thing. I'll take it slowly, you know. And I see there are like 150 people going. I'm like, cool, I can manage that. And then I show up and I walk in and I'm literally like, holy cow. I take a deep breath. I do a big swallow and I'm like, now what? There must have been 1,500 people there. And I'm like, where did all these people come from? I didn't realize you could RSVP in different places for this event. So I was totally ill prepared. That was the last time I went anywhere like that alone.
Yeah, I know. I'm always like, like with Carrie, with my co-parent, I'm always trying to be like, I'll go with you. I'll help you out. You know what I mean? Like, I'll go with you to like Real Impact or, you know, or the Share Impact Conference, or I'll go with you. I'll go, you know.
So generous.
Like, yeah, I'll hook you up. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
She's like,
yeah.
You don't need to go with, I got this, you know. But that's what, again, kudos to you though. That's what was so, the Share Impact Conference last year, how you guys adapted quickly. I don't know if I talked about this on the show, but like, that was the coolest thing. And that was for me, one of like 3 things that made last year incredible for me, with the business wise, was going to that Share Impact Conference. It was so much more directed and it was so much more organized than when you do just walk into a networking event and you're just like, okay, I guess I'll talk to someone who's not talking to someone. And you're right, like you don't know where to go.
Right.
Like, with the virtual conferences, it's amazing because you can see who's online. You can go to their Facebook profile or LinkedIn, or, you know, you could like get a sense of who they're about and see if it's a good fit or not.
Yeah. You know what? Tell me more about that, Ron, because I actually had a conversation with somebody yesterday about these virtual events that are now our norm and these virtual conferences. And somebody asked me, well, was there an opportunity for people to connect in the same way as when you had your in-person event? And I said, there really was. But tell us more about how you did that. And continue to do that, because I think that's really valuable for people. Like, some people still aren't comfortable with the idea that they're going to do their connecting or their networking virtually.
Right. So I found it to be like, I keep saying directed. It was just so well directed, because even when doing the coffee and connections, like, you know, the real coffee and connections, like the 8 in the morning thing, I love that too, because everything is so much more organized. So with the Share Impact Conference as an example, you know, you get there and you see who's like, you see who's engaged, right? So there's the speaker, and then there's the people like typing like, great job, totally preach, you know, like, yay. And you see who's like engaged, right? Who's liking, who's commenting. And I'm like, well, those people are in it to win it. Then I go to I went to their Facebook profiles just to check them out. And I was like, oh, it says what their business is. I go to their webpage, or again, LinkedIn. And I'm just like, oh, this is the coolest person ever. And then I just write them an email. Like, I just write them just like, you're awesome. You know, like, I love what you're about. I saw that you do, like Amanda McLernan was one that I was like she moderated. She was the host for one of the panels. And I was like, you are such a good host. Oh my God, you are so talented. Like,
she really is.
Right? Because I was in response, I just emailed, and then we started talking, and then she's like, hey, I'm looking for a public speaking coach, you know? So it was really like, it works out like that. So that's what I like about it, is that you're in charge. Whereas unless you have like Google Glasses or something, where you go into that big cattle call and you're seeing all these people just sitting around, you know, having conversations, which is great. And you're like, yes, she is a therapist who doesn't have video on her website. Okay, I'm gonna go talk to her, you know, like, and that makes me sound salesy, but like, I don't mean it like that, but.
Yeah, well, but you have like this amazing gift to help people shine through their videos. And if they don't have one of those on their site, then I can see how you see that as an opportunity to help them really bring out their own light.
Yeah. And to play, like, if someone's cool, I'm like I was after you for a while. I was like, hey, let's do video. You're awesome. I'm gonna do video with you, you know? And so like, yeah, like, it's an opportunity. That's what I tell my clients all the time. I'm like, when we go to networking events, or again, in the future, and then, or in these virtual things, like, I'm like, it's really a matter of looking at like the room full of people and going, who do I want to play with? Like, who do I want to just connect and share and help out? Right? Like, who do I want to connect them to in my network? Or, oh my God, you do that? I love working with people that do that. Can we talk about this? Can I just tell you what I would do if we were working together? right?
Yeah.
Like, why not? It's not that masculine driven salesy energy of like, you need to buy my product.
Right.
You need to do it. You should
Yeah,
do it. It'll save
do
you.
it.
Just do it. Do it.
Okay, now things that I have Arnold in my head. Tell me, okay, Ron, tell me about your week. We just spent all this time talking about my week and the conference. What's going on for you?
Well, I'm excited for you. Because that's a big deal. I have one more question though, real quick. Sorry. How did the other two kids? They're still at the private school, right?
Yeah.
How did they? Are they like, we miss you? Like, how are they coping?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, they're like, I mean, my son even said, Malzy, you got this. We're going to miss you. Have a great day. Bye, sweetie. You know, and they gave each other kisses and hugs. They're super lovey.
That's cute.
So yeah, they were cheering her on and supporting her, and they were excited for her. I mean, I think, you know, Adam and I have really spent really their entire life telling them everybody gets different things at different times for different reasons, and everybody needs different things. And so they're used to that. Like, they don't always do the same thing and go the same places. Everybody gets what he or she needs.
That's really cool. We through quarantine, my niece and my daughter's 5, my niece is 13, or going to be 13 in 2 weeks, and they become like sisters through quarantine. But they're both very intense, very alpha, like super leaders, super bosses, and so they're always like fighting with each other about like, you know, who got what, who got this, who got that. And on one hand, it's really cute. My niece has become a lot more open and adaptable because she's been like, you know, this whole year, like this is who she has to connect with. So she's like, all right, I'll play Barbies with you. I'll go, you know, do whatever with you. And then my daughter's become more of a teenager. So she'll just be like,
Oh no.
yeah, like, why would you think that that's okay, Dad?
Oh goodness, it's just starting. Yeah, I do actually remember back to when my kids were around this age, like 5, 6. I was like, who do you think you are? And where did you get that attitude and that sassiness? It is amazing how early on they adopt that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the sass
But
level.
just wait, because like it gets better.
Oh, okay. So I have exciting news. I 2 things. The first is I have a setup on Saturday.
Fun.
Well, hopefully. I have a client who's a matchmaker, a yenta, like full on. She's 26. I'm actually interviewing her tomorrow. Her name is Abby Rosenblum. I want to say Rosenblum, but it's not. It's Rosenblum. We used to have a cantor when I went to synagogue, when I went to Hebrew school back in years ago. His name was Rosenblum. Beautiful baritone voice. But
As
regardless,
an
aside, so Abby Rosenblum, she is a matchmaker, and she is in it to win it. She's phenomenal. She's the solution to dating apps. And so I recently did a bunch of videos for her and stuff, and I'm interviewing her tomorrow on Facebook Live. I'm very excited about this. But so she setting me up, but it's gonna be Zoom. Like, I was like, I can't meet in person. I have people in my family that are immune compromised. So obviously I'm like super nervous, but I work with, here's the other thing. I live like a business class lifestyle. Like, I'm always like, yeah, I'll have more champagne. Yeah. And the halibut. Thank you so much. You know, like, I live a business class. Like, everyone takes care of me.
Do you have a bell on your desk?
I really should. It's called the internet. I just email people and then they're like, yeah, we'll help you out. I work with Michelle Pegues. Did I say that right? Pegues?
I don't know how you say her last name. Okay, yeah, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, well, we'll tag her. Michelle Pegues, who is a relationship coach, and she has helped me clear so much business. My friendship with my co-parent has gotten so much better. My friendship with myself has gotten like so much better. We get along so well, like we party. And so I'm like totally prepped here. I'm like totally like in it to win it. A little nervous, but yeah. So Saturday.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, this is like, I mean, I don't even think we have enough time to talk about dating via Zoom, but I'm excited to talk to you next week and hear how that goes.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. It's a totally different world.
And yet I think it plays to my strengths because I'm just gonna like interview her. I mean, like,
oh, she's gonna love that.
No, but like I'll talk. I don't talk about myself enough. You know what I mean? Like I'll get it. Like she'll get a sense, but it'll be a real conversation, and we don't get distracted. We don't have to. I mean, we're in Denver. It's not like Chicago. We don't have to find parking, but like it's still like to go out and deal and like and get there and like this way. You just like pop on. I have this beautiful background.
Yeah, you do. Let's talk about that. I'm really liking how your office is being set up.
Thank you.
I'm really liking it, and the lighting on your face. You look fully lit today, so nice job on the new ring light. We're getting everything going here.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you for the ring light. You take see that's what I'm saying. A business guy. I'm just like, I'll do cashews. Yeah, that's cool. Also, my last thing I'm very excited about. After 40 years of having hair, I started using a blow dryer, and I'm from the 80s. I don't know why I never used a blow dryer.
That's true.
As we say, fan. I used a fan.
A fan. So tell me about why the fan now? Like what was the impetus to starting to use the fan today or this week?
What happened was when my sister was helping me out with my hair with the crazy situation, she's like, let me just dry it so that we can see what it looks like. And it looked so much more organized. Like normally like my hair, like I'll just like I put schmutz in it and then it like, it just gets crazy. But now I'm an adult and I'm trying to look delicious. So I like, and then it like looks straighter and more coiffed. So I thought I'm just changing the look.
It's a great coif. It's a great coif.
It's a game changer.
No, I really like it. And it's interesting because the color is different. I don't know if it's because of the blow dry or some sort of shine, but it looks really good. Ron, you're looking great.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I have, again, there's a lot of women that like help me out with this. This doesn't just happen.
Well, listen, we talk about community and the power of having a community of support all the time. I mean, it's essential, whether we're talking about business or life, right? All the things, community is really key. So good for you.
And I'll say it as a dude, I'm going to say that like living in a female like dominated community or female driven community, I tell you, it makes all the difference. Like I'm healthier, I'm way happier. It takes a lot of work to be happy. You know what I mean? Like, so, but speaking of, are you ready for this like sick transition right here? This awesome transition?
Yeah.
So
do it.
Ready? Here it is, Rachel. So many of the women that I work with and in the community, right, it's astounding to me. This was such a difference. My perception of business growing up, my dad was an entrepreneur and it was a stressful thing. And it was just like, it was hardcore and you have ups and downs. And I mean, you still have ups and downs. But when I transitioned into my own business owner and I found myself in the female dominated space, in the female driven space where it's all heart-centered, and caring and in service of others. Like I was blown away. I was like, this is what I've been looking for in theater and film. I couldn't find it there. I found it here in terms of, me as a storyteller. And one of the people that like legit is the prime example of this for me is our guest today. How perfect is that?
Yeah. She really is. And I think the other thing we talked about before the show was, a lot of the women that we work with, they've got like some specific talent or skill, like they're accountants or bookkeepers or therapists or health and wellness practitioners, whatever it might be. And so they go into business really wanting to do more of the thing, and our guest has a totally different story. It's really inspiring. Should we watch it?
Yeah, here we go. I'm gonna bring up the video real quick so that, okay, here we go. I will. It's so funny because I'm going to use the YouTube link, and like on the side right now, it's like, you can just see like the kind of stuff I watch. It's all like superheroes and, all right, here we go. So this is her new awesome video.
Helping people, it feeds my soul. I finally feel like I'm doing what I'm here to do. I found my purpose. My name is Nancy McKay, and I'm a certified life and equus coach. I help my clients by showing them where their thoughts are getting in their way and how to change them. In partnership with the horses, I guide them on a profound and personal journey to explore and discover their true nature. I'm working with a client with a horse in the round pen. When they land on their truth, I can see it in their eyes, and I can see it in the horse, because the horse is right there next to them. I started this business because after surviving cancer, I realized that life is short and I wanted to have a career that was more fulfilling. I help women learn how to cope with life's challenges differently so they can feel greater joy and happiness in their lives. When you come into the round pen, I come in first. I give you a safety demonstration. I tell you what to expect. I show you where to stand, where not to stand. There's no riding involved. You're on the ground, and the horses respect you. They will not run you over. They're really gentle giants. One of the benefits my clients experience is transformation. And my clients tell me that my knowledge, passion, and experience allow them to be vulnerable and feel safe. And they appreciate my honesty and directness. So if you're ready for a breakthrough, call me or email me today, and let's get to work.
That is a gorgeous video.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nancy McKay.
Woo! Nancy!
Well, good morning.
Hey. Thanks for being with us today.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me. And the conversation so far this morning has been stellar. I just have enjoyed every minute of it. You know, your daughter going off to a new school this morning is exciting, and I can imagine how trepidation, you know, how much trepidation you felt, and you know, I'm sure it was nerve-wracking for you, and she's probably just, you know, having a blast. So
Yeah, I think she probably is.
Yeah.
Well, it's really relevant to the work that you do, Nancy. I mean, that video was fabulous, and it's so it was so beautifully done, and really just brings out your passion for the work that you're doing and your love of horses and your understanding of the power of our, you know, connecting with through horses, I guess, to really reveal what's going on and help uncover that next path.
Well, they're so, you know, they're so intuitive, horses are, and they're just magnificent. And because of their intuition and because they're herd animals, they want to join up with authenticity. So when they're in the herd, a herd of horses, you know, horses just, they don't have agendas, they don't have schedules, they don't know that they're supposed to feel a certain way, they just are, right? And so, you know, they hook up with each other, they join up. And when there's a human around, if the human is in touch with their feelings and they're honest with themselves, then the horse will join up with them. But if they're not, then the horse, you know, it's like, not so much.
See,
So,
Nancy, this is, first of all, was that Trisha Turpinoff as the model?
yes, it was. Well, and she wasn't a model, she was a client. She was, she agreed to let our session be filmed for me. She was so gracious. And yeah, but we did some great work that day. I mean, it was not just, she wasn't posing, she was working that day.
That's
So
incredible. That's really good to know too. Like, cause that's kudos to you. Like, both of you guys are so heart-centered and so driven to help others. So was that always a thing for you? Were you always on the path of being a healer, being a counselor, being a coach? Was that always a thing for you?
well, you know, I think it was. I didn't know it really. When I went to college, I was going to be a sociology and psychology major, and then that got derailed when I decided to get married. Which was a bad idea, but but I always have had that streak of, you know, having a really good shoulder for people to lean on. And, you know, I've always been a confidant for folks, people that I work with and so on and so forth. I'm the one that people come to when they had a problem. And so it was just kind of it's no wonder that coaching really appeals to me, is because it was just kind of a natural thing. So I guess it kind of does go back to your thing of I'm good with numbers, I'll be an accountant sort of thing. You know, it does sort of follow that, but you know, the specifics of coaching and especially Equus coaching, that was new to me. And because I had gone through a cancer diagnosis, and my mortality was, you know, kind of hit me in the face, even though I wasn't diagnosed with a terminal stage of cancer, it still rocks your world. And it made me realize that it was just life is too short to be miserable. And, you know, one of my quotes is, I didn't get sober and survive cancer to be miserable. And so I decided that if something was going to be different, I was going to have to be the one that changed it.
That's incredible. And so like, do you, coming from that shift, that realization, where like, I have to change something, was it an easy, I mean, nothing's ever easy, but was it just a foregone conclusion? Like, I'll make a business out of this. I will bring income, revenue, like I will market, I will do all these things. Was that an easy choice? Like, was that an obvious choice for you? Or how did you go through the building blocks of transitioning from I have to help to I will make a business of this?
Yeah, I think it was. For me, it was clear. And so, you know, it wasn't easy. So I'm one of those folks who, when I get something in my mind that is important to me, I go all in. And there was not a way for me to half-ass this, really. So I got the training, I got the certifications, and as I was going along in that, I was working with clients and so on and so forth. And, you know, it became very clear when it was time for me to retire from my corporate job and go full-time in my coaching business. It wasn't necessarily the correct financial time to do that, but it
never is.
But you know, it is. It's kind of like when you're planning to have kids, or when you're wanting to have kids, there's no perfect time to start a family, right? So I just, you know, I kind of threw caution to the wind against a lot. You know, I came up against some pushback from friends and so on and so forth. People thought I was out of my mind. But I knew for me, it was the right thing to do.
Go ahead.
I really haven't looked back.
Nancy, you talk about it being clear. Was there like a specific moment when you had a revelation, or what did that look like, it being clear? Because I think a lot of people watching, you know, maybe in the same boat. They feel like they're maybe called to do something different, something perhaps more purposeful. And they're in that tension of knowing, like, is this the right time? How do I know when the right time is?
Well, for me, I mean, when I started training, that was clear. There was something that I knew I needed to do that. And then when it came to actually retiring from my corporate job, things were getting really uncomfortable at work. You know, and it was just, you know, it's time. It just, you know, it's time. And I'm really glad that I listened to my inner wisdom. And that's one thing that I think is so powerful and so important, is for anyone that's really on any kind of journey, is to learn how to listen to your inner wisdom, because we know everything that we need to know. You know, my first, you know, I studied under Martha Beck's program, and her words to us were, I will never teach you anything that you don't already know. You know, you are going to learn about yourself here. And it's stuff that you don't already know, or that you already know, but is either buried or under layers and layers and layers of things. And we all have that inner wisdom. It's just a matter of unearthing it and trusting it, which is a big one, really big and really hard, because if we haven't paid attention to it, then we don't know to trust it. And that's something that I've struggled with a lot, you know, looking for outside validation and am I doing it right? And, you know, so on and so forth. And really, it all comes down to trusting yourself.
Yeah.
And having your own back.
See, this is so true. Like, why do you think at large so many people don't trust themselves? Because I think all three of us, this is the work, like we probably deal with clients all day long, that's really what we're doing. We're unearthing that trust. We're unearthing the true intuition. What do you feel like is that thing that stands in the way of people doing that for themselves?
Well, I think a lot of it is culture has told us that, you know, we're not good enough. We have to listen to people who are supposed to know better. You know, I think so much of it is cultural, and it's just, you know, what we all need to know is that we're enough. You know, we're stronger than we think we are. We really are. You know, people are they're so easily swayed to saying, you know, I don't have what it takes. I'm not strong enough. I could never do that, you know, blah, blah, blah. Well, those are just thoughts, you know, that came from somewhere that are succeeding in keeping you down. And it's just as easy to flip those thoughts over and think something differently that will propel you in the direction that you want to go.
Yeah.
And only you know where that direction is. And, you know, it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, Brooke Castillo, the way of the life coach school,
Yep.
she says, like, because it is hard to flip that thought, right? Flip the script in your mind. And so she always says, what is the next believable thought that you can get yourself around, right? What's the next believable thought? Because it's hard to go from I am not enough to I am amazing. Like that's not a natural transition. And so we go from I am not enough to maybe it's I have this specific thing to offer.
Right. Or you know, I can try one new thing today. You know, it's leveling up by 1%, you know, little bits, turtle steps, as Martha calls them, and 1%, as Brooke calls it. You know, it's just changing it by a little bit. And, and then it's amazing where you can go if you just make those small adjustments along the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, it's so fun. In 2016, so we moved here to Colorado from Chicago in 2015, and we had businesses, and we brought along with our businesses a lot of really bad mindsets. You know, I was joking my show. I'm like, you know, we came here and that first 2 years was so hard, and people are like, "What are you manifesting, Ron? What are you manifesting?" I'm like, "I'm from Chicago. Like, what am I going to manifest? Like a sunny day? Not going to happen." And then so I remember thinking so we hit rock bottom by like 2017, and like we're like it was just like, okay, we need to make a change. And we found this really cool Ayurvedic consultant in Boulder, and I remember the first time I came in, she's like, "You're on the floor." She's like, "You are in shock right now." I had made a penny in months. Like it was so bad, and just the mindset just got, you know, like just more weighed me down even more. And I remember through the discussion, I was waiting for her to be all like sciencey and stuff, and or like really hippity bippity on the flip side and be like whatever. And she was like, "Watch The Secret." She's like, "Watch The Secret she's like, watch it every day for a week." And I was like, really? Like, that's what you're prescribed? Okay. And through that, just, getting like a really foundational understanding of mindset. And I was like, oh yeah, like I started really, like, connecting the dots. Where I was like, I've really convinced myself that I'm a loser for so many years.
Right.
Like that voice, and we don't have to go into the psychology of where I heard that voice. I didn't make it up, but it was there to support me. So I was like, oh,
Right.
fun, huh? Yeah, you're a loser. Oh, you're succeeding a little bit. Oh, you got an opportunity to direct over here, or acting school over there in New York. Oh, okay, you're a loser, so it's not going to work out. And then I was like, well, if I can convince myself that I'm a loser, why can't I do the opposite, right? And then it was like that one like chain of events, or like chain reaction, was insane. Like totally what you're talking about, where it's just like it starts spiraling, and then I mean, look what happens.
Yeah.
And then you started using the fan.
Yeah. You start losing a blow dryer, for crying out loud.
And I don't mean to brag, but this is our Banana Republic factory sweater.
There you go.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Enough said.
Enough said. Mic drop. So what I'm saying is, in a mansplaining way, Nancy, what you're talking about works.
Yeah, it does. It does. And I use it every day on myself, and I rely on coaches like Rachel. And, it's amazing to be able to know that you really can create the life you want when you cultivate thoughts that can get you there, and the thoughts that create the feelings. And so one of the things I'm really working on right now is creating the feeling that I want to have, and knowing that once when I'm in that feeling, then magic happens.
Yeah, it fully transforms how you show up.
Right. And that one of the places that happens for me is with the horses.
So Nancy, wait, like the last thing we'll do is, can we take that, like that little scenario, like how you're going from where you're at today with relationship to feelings, how you're walking yourself through that and getting where you want to get to, and what are the steps you're taking to get there? Like, I'm so curious, like, let's open this up.
So let's say, let's say the result I want is to have a full client calendar, right? A full calendar, full of clients, and I'm working with clients all day long. And that's, I'm helping, and I'm, serving, and that's I can feel that in my stomach as I say that, right? And I can feel I'm creating that emotion of really, it's really love, right? And when I am in that space, and that's how I want to feel when I'm having all of this, because for me, that's success. Having that feeling, it doesn't matter how much money's in the bank.
Yeah.
This is the feeling I want to have. This is the feeling that will tell me that I'm successful, that I'm living my life the way I want to live it, right? And so then you think about, okay, so what's the thought that is going to create that feeling? Well, and one of the thoughts I'm thinking is working with the horses and being of service and helping my clients and so on and so forth. And so that creates the feeling. And I know now my whole body is buzzing right now because I've created that feeling for myself.
And then that's more, right? That's how you manifest more of more.
Yeah.
You manifest
and so now, if I were to sit down and write a blog post or a Facebook post or something like that, then that energy, that feeling would come out of my fingers as I'm typing. And that's going to help create the things that that I'm wanting to create. So excuse me while I type away here.
I thought of something. You just described what it's like 5 minutes before I get on a call with you, Nancy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it just gave me the shivers.
That's awesome. I love how you describe that the feeling that you actually are cultivating within you and bringing forth is a feeling of love. And I happen to have the gift of really knowing you, Nancy. And so I know that that's exactly what it is for you. It's like love for your clients, love for service, love for really supporting people.
Yeah.
And and I wanted to add one thing. The process that you just described is really powerful, really powerful. And there's one thing that when you create that feeling, right, and you're able to shift the thinking, and it brings you into the difference in how you start doing and showing up and the actions you take. And one of the things that I encourage my clients to do is actually to put the blocks of time on their calendar for clients, even if they haven't yet signed those clients.
Right.
Put them on the calendar because you're physically making space for them. You're making room in your life and in your schedule for them to show up and be able to just slide right in.
That's right.
So
just
another thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's brilliant. I mean, there's a lot of talk about that, like in The Secret is, if you're wanting a relationship, make sure you make room in your closet for the other person's clothes, right? Because there needs to be room for them, or, that sort of thing. Clean out the garage so you can put your new car in there, or whatever. There's a lot to be said for clearing out space for your dream.
Yeah.
And that's, and I've always been a dreamer. I mean, I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. I come by that very honestly. My great-great-grandfather, or my great-grandfather was, he was an entrepreneur. And so I come by it pretty honestly, although it wasn't supported by my immediate family. Growing up, it was, get a job, work there for 30 years, retire, blah, blah, blah. Who cares if you're happy, right? And fortunately, I came to the realization before it was too late that being happy was more important than the bank account. And hopefully everything will, meld together.
Yeah, yeah. So Nancy, if somebody's watching today and they are like, this woman has my heart, like I can tell she's speaking my language, who's your person? Like, who do you want to say to that person out there? Like, hey, I'm here for you. I would love to help you and support you and work with you. And especially to bring you into the pen with my friends, the horses.
Yeah, really. Well, I primarily work with women. I haven't worked with men yet. So the door's always open. And because I'm sober, helping women get sober or look at their relationship with alcohol is one of the biggest things I do. I'm also a cancer survivor. So people who are freaked out about a cancer diagnosis, or any other major crisis in their life, I'm on board to help them as well. So, the over drinking thing is a real issue in our country, and especially with the pandemic and everybody's cocktailing it up like crazy. And so, if you've found yourself, in a tough spot because of that, I'm your girl.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. Lots and lots of love for you, Nancy. Thank you so much for joining us as our guest today. You have so much wisdom and strength, and we appreciate you sharing it with our viewers.
Well, I'm so thankful that you invited me to be on, and I love you guys both to pieces. So
we adore you, Nancy. You're like family. Like when I was like, Nancy McKay's on the docket, I'm like like a cousin I don't get to see that much, a cousin I like.
Yeah. That's true.
All right. Well, thanks again, Nancy.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Nancy.
She's a special person.
Yeah. How did you meet her?
She attended this year's conference or last year's conference in 2020. And then we opened up Sheer Impact membership to founding members, and she signed on as a founding member. And I didn't even know who she was. So I sent her an email. Was like, hey, thanks for joining us in the membership. I'm excited to get to know you. Let's hop on a call first just to connect. And so we did. And yeah, I mean, she's just a sweetheart. She has an incredibly powerful story of survival and really flipping the script, right? Like when life dishes out so much trauma and challenge, and you can take that and empower yourself and then use that to empower other people. Like that's just, wow. Like I really admire her and her work.
She is that perfect hybrid of where it's like you sincerely see how she cares about others, but like, and how, you know, like she had it tough. And so you see that it's like a struggle, but like she's genuinely positive. She's a genuinely good, like, I mean, I keep saying positive. You know, there's some people that like, God bless them, they're working to be positive. They're on their way, but like you see that they're like they're holding on and stuff. She is just like so real and raw, and you're like it always feels so good to be around her because she's so real, you know, and positive, like legit positive. So I'm such
she walks the walk. She walks the walk. Okay, so she said so many things. One of the things I want to just reflect on for a second was how, you know, I think it's really that inner 5-year-old. Like we know who we are at 5 years old. You and I were talking about this earlier with your daughter and her 13-year-old cousin, you know, like she is who she is. That's already been formed. And I think our society historically, and hopefully we are a part of shifting that for our children and the next generation. But, you know, our society has like knocked us down and used the word should and done all these things that lead us to becoming adults who question ourselves. And we don't question our purpose. We question our inner voice, that inner wisdom that she was talking about.
It's astounding, right? Yeah, like I see this with so many clients, and especially now that I work with so many coaches, like that it's like I like my dad said, he looked at my daughter and he's like, she's just amazing. Oh, she's wonderful. Wow, she's all these things. And I don't know where, and of course he has to dig. He goes, I don't know where she gets this personality from. And I'm like, I don't invite you to shows, but I'm like, we have the same personality. Thank God she has her mom's looks and brains, but she has my personality, you know? And I mean Carrie has a great personality. I'm just saying, she's gonna be on our show. So, but I'm like, she has my intensity. And he's like, oh, I don't know about that. I'm like, cause you spent most of your like 30s and 40s squelching it, boss, you know, like, whereas with her, we're seeing it that like, we just let her roll, like let her rip. I mean, she has guidelines, she has, discipline, all these things, but whereas like with me, like I had this personality, I had this intensity, and it was from day one, it was like too much. So I grew up with this mindset of too much, you're too much. Right. And so I spent, you know, from like 5 to last week working on that, you know, to unearth it and go like, no, it's plenty. It's fine. Like, it's just enough, you know?
Yeah. Well, one of the things that you and I have talked about several times is this idea that there's really this hole in the world, this gaping hole that is waiting for us to fill it with our unique selves, with our authentic selves, right? And that hole is reserved for us to fill, right? And so I love that idea because it's like until you believed that you were enough and you were perfect as you were, even if that felt like too much to other people, then those are not your people to be around, right? Until you fully stepped into that, there's like a hole in the world. There's this hole. And so I love that image of each of us really figuring out, well, what does it mean to fill that gaping hole? Like, how do we step into that? Because as each of us does that, that's what brings this collective world all together, right? we're filled in, we're, what am I trying to say here? We're,
like,
you know where I'm going. Yeah.
We're putting our best self out there. And I think this is obviously in the context of doing good things, right? Like, I think we know a lot of people that are like, what? Like, I'm being mean, I'm being nasty, but it's my authentic self. Like, is it? Like, is that's very fear-based. I think people that have done the work, and especially the work that Nancy's talking about, right? The clearing and the bringing in the love, like the genuine love, like you guys are like, I think like experiencing that and moving in life from that perspective, then that fills that gaping hole. And then it's just math at that point. You go, all these people are filling that gaping hole by being in their genuine greatness and their authenticity and their love. And like, that's a bunch of people interacting together. That's a game changer, right? But
totally,
like, it's people like her, people like you that help bring that out in the world. So I know you said that. I love that you said that. Like, you said that in an interview we did last year, where it was like, there's a gaping hole, and having that perspective that if you don't show up, you are doing a disservice to others. That is a game changer, I think, for so many people.
Yeah. I think we should wrap on that note. But Ron, you're in that too. You said Nancy and I, but it's you too. I mean, we have this gift of being, of working with purpose-driven women, like women who want to be out in the world, creating change, creating impact, whether that's in their home or broader communities, whatever it might look like. Like, these are women who actually think about their place in the world and how they're, like, the imprint that they're making. And wow, what a gift to be able to do that kind of work with those types of people every single day.
I know, I can't believe this is our work. Like, when I work with people, I have a client right now in she's in Wisconsin. She has a recovery home for women, and when we were working, we had a huge breakthrough yesterday in her presentation, and like directing that play, I always call it plays, like directing that play to go from that to another production of Glass Menagerie, or Joseph or the Amazing or whatever, like yeah, I would love to do those for fun, but like, I was like, when I saw the impact of her sharing her true story and her pain and her struggle and how she helps people now, and then giving actual real life tools, I was like, wow, I would never, selfishly, I never want to direct like anything on a high level outside of this, like these, working with these women that are so full of content that helps and changes and shifts the paradigm. And oh my God, I know, I love that. Like,
yeah,
it's the best, man.
Yeah, what a gift. All right, so if that's you, if you're out there feeling like you have a story to share, you haven't told it yet, reach out. We'd love to help you.
Yeah, legit. We're here for you. What a good
All right,
close.
with
That should be our close all the time. It's like, if you're out there. Here, I'm going to do the thing. Ready? I'm going to share the screen. We have a new closer.
All right, we're excited to see you next week. Thanks for tuning in, friends.
Thanks for watching. Here, we're going to do here's the close.